What's up, guys? How's everyone going today? Wednesday morning here in Australia. Busy week thus far. Busy week looking ahead. This is my first live stream of the day. I'll be going live one more time. I'll be uploading Abdullah Mason versus Sam Noakes today. I'm also going to be uploading in the next 24 hours Benavidez versus Yard, as well as Bam versus Puma. There's a lot to talk about. If you haven't watched my breakdown already, it's on my fight prediction playlist. Check out my breakdown, analysis, and prediction of Devin Haney versus Brian Norman Jr. The grand arrivals are today in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, and there's a lot to talk about. So we're going to be going over today the current odds on Sportsbet. We'll see if any of the odds have shifted. Some of the books down here in Australia they've opened up other fights. So there's Niall Brown versus Darren Johnstone. I think that's on the Eubank Wagner card, and a few other fights. So we'll get into that. John Fernandez versus Casamonica. There's some other fights that they've opened. And I'll also leave the mic. I'll leave the stage open to you guys as well, because a fight week like this, everybody's always more active. Yesterday on both live streams, one of the live streams we peaked at a little over 100 people for the early one, which is normal, and then the later one we had about 60, which is still good. So wherever you're tuning into the world, whenever you're tapping into this, could you like this video? Could you subscribe? Also, click that link. It is our Johnny Says Boxing VIP Insider link. You get access to our private betting Discord, and I'll show you what's up real quick, and then I'll take questions. You come on, you guys can ask me whatever you want about your bets. If you guys are in the Discord, I'll share the link real quick. So another perk of the becoming a VIP is you could come on the live stream with me. And this is a look into our Discord as we speak. We're getting near 300 VIPs. We're at about 285. My goal by the end of the month is to get to 300. It's a couple bucks a month. Click that link. It's not just boxing. It's MMA. It's NBA. It's NFL. It's hockey. It's soccer. I'll show you my favorite bit of the Discord is we have these community polls to where you have access to. We're doing statistics, and what we're doing is we're giving everybody an option to pick a parlay. Last week was our first week of introducing this feature, and shout out to our moderator, Gil. Gil launched this feature in our Discord last week, and what it allows us to do is pick throughout the fight week as we're approaching fight night, doing statistical evaluations from everybody in the Discord, picking winning parlays, and last week we hit both of them. So these were our community picks last week. This is basically an average, a knowledge of our overall general knowledge in the Discord. We have a really educated chat. So we picked Delgado, Azim, Espinosa last week, and then Catterall as well. So to find out more, just click the link that's pinned in the comment here. I'm going to bring back the odds. I'm going to start saying my salutations to everybody. Rio, Abdullah by knockout or TKO. What's up, Rio? Yeah, it's looking that way. Going into last week when I was already watching Sam Noakes, I'm already high on Mason. Mason's really skilled, really talented. He's going to have the speed advantage. He's going to have the power advantage. All of that is fine. We know it's boxing. We know it comes down to setups, traps, feints. We know it comes down to resilience, punch placement, accuracy, using the whole ring. It's not just one thing or the other. It's an accumulation of skills and talents and reads and fight IQ. And this is why they call boxing the sweet science. This is why what makes me as a coach love it so much, and as a lifelong boxer love it so much. There isn't one fighter that you guys can name who would stand on a pedestal and say that they have a perfect game. There's always something to work on technically. So I say that to say this. There's things that Sam Noakes does. He has a few tendencies, he has a few tells, and so does Abdullah. One of the major things that Sam does defensively that I don't like is what he does when he follows his offense up in the pocket, doesn't move his head, keeps his head on a straight line. That's pretty much what Abdullah Mason's looking for. Abdullah has his own tells as well. We talked about the Johan Vasquez fight. I did a short on this, and I'm going to be talking about that in my upload. Is in the Johan Vasquez fight, Abdullah got dropped 2 times from the same punch. He didn't make an adjustment after the first when he got caught the first time, and he went to the well a second time and got stunned again. And if you're unaware of what I'm talking about, it's that rear uppercut that Mason loves to throw. Now, boxing coaches around the world will tell a new fighter, whenever you're throwing that rear uppercut, whether you're an orthodox fighter or southpaw, you never throw it naked. You either throw it in a combo or you throw it off a counter. You don't just lead and then go naked here, because as a southpaw, he's fighting Vasquez, an orthodox fighter. Boom. And he got clipped twice. So you got to think that Noakes will be looking for that. I'm leaning on the fact that Mason is locked. He watches tape. He lives in the gym. He's a very skilled athlete. I'm pretty much convinced he's gonna nullify that hole in his game. I like Mason by knockout. Jay Grizz, what's up? Looking fit, looking yoked. Jay Grizz staying healthy out here so we could still be good. It's 6:30. I've already worked out once today. So I wake up at 4:45, 5 a.m. and then I do this live stream with one of my OG clients who lives far away, and we do a 30-minute push-up, plank, wall sit session. It's called you just put a continuous clock. So I've already done about 500 push-ups, about 5 minutes of planks, about 8 minutes of wall sits. And that's generally how I start my day every day, so I can still be good. And then today I have a back squat powerlifting program I'm doing. I started my 1 rep max 8-week block yesterday. So for the next eight weeks leading up to the new year, I'll be testing my back squat. I'll be testing 3 of my deadlifts, my sumo, my trap, and my traditional deadlift. I'll be testing my Zercher squat, and I'll be testing my bench press. So I'm a strength and conditioning coach down here in Sydney, and I have a strength training online business that I never talk about here, but it's actually one of the levels of membership on this. So if you click that link, you'll see level 3. Level 3 is the most expensive. It's basically taking part in my online coaching program. World of Wrestling, mate, great name. I've seen you on the chat. I used to be a wrestling head in the 90s, boy. The Rockers. Dude, I could tell you when wrestling broke my heart. Shawn Michaels, Marty Jannetty, when they were like the tag team, and I think they were on Brutus the Barber Beefcake's little show called The Barbershop. This was when WWF was on Saturday mornings. I'm 43 years old, but I digress. I got Bam, Mason, Benavides, 100% World of Wrestling. So I've been back and forth. Guys, tomorrow on the show, I'm bringing on, what's tomorrow? Yeah, so tomorrow on the show, Paulie Malignaggi is supposed to come on, and Tommy Rainone is supposed to come on. So we were talking about this just now. I talk to Tommy every day. Tommy Rainone, New Yorker, pro. He retired in about 2015, I think. He has his own show with Paulie Malignaggi called Paulie and Tommy's Big Fight Breakdown. But we were talking about World of Wrestling's this 3-legger, because no matter which way you're going with Norman or Haney, I'm taking, I got Norman on a standalone. I've gone really heavy on Norman. We all got little parlay sprinkling. I'd advise people, if there is a 50-50 fight in your head, for me, it's Norman Haney. Don't put it on all your parlays. And so I have something very similar to this World of Wrestling. Any potential upsets on the odds, of course, man. I could look. No one's getting dude. Anthony Yard is a big puncher. Anthony Yard is the naturally bigger guy. He could crack. He's been in there with some great opponents. We've seen David Benavides move up to light heavyweight. We've seen his power not carry. I'm not saying he's going to lose. I have him winning, but it's boxing. In the light heavyweight division, man, one punch could change everything. One punch on the temple, one punch by the ear, and then the rest of the fight, you're working uphill. So that could happen in a lot of these fights. Puma, really good operator. Puma's really aggressive. The thing about Puma is he really doesn't, in my opinion, have that pop to really get Bam's respect off jump. So I'm definitely taking Bam, but I'm just giving you a brief rundown. And then, going into fight night, Norman Jr. will be the underdog. And so if you like Norman, you catch him at plus odds, that's an upset. Sam Noakes. Sam Noakes is a really high-level operator at 135. He lost his first pro fight, has been undefeated since. Things could happen. I will not stand here and say I'm 100% confident ever on any fight. So upsets can happen. Will they happen? I'm not sure. Big Shadow, what up, playa? Mankey Crazy in the house, tapping in. Guys, if you're in the Discord, I see all the boys here with the stars, no matter what color stars, they're in the Discord. Make sure you boys in the Discord check out what Gil has been working on with the community polls. Make sure you're voting, boys, in there. It really gives us some good data moving forward. Yes, sir. I'm funny going, 26. There, that's awesome, Grizzy. Get it. So he's Golden Gloves this year, 2026. What weight class, big dog? So level 3 is a fit. Level 3 isn't just fitness advice. So fitness advice. So basically, you get tapped into you get a weekly program, which is connected to, I usually do 6 to 8 weeks strength and fitness blocks for my online coaching, depending on where they are. Also, depending on what equipment you have. So level 3, Mankey Crazy, is built around foundational training, body weight training, being able to train in my system without any equipment and not needing a gym membership. So that's what it's based around. CBD flower, people sleeping on Sam Noakes for real. Mason looks the real deal, but he's got to show defensive. 100%, mate. I don't disagree with CBD flower here at all. It's actually, as you guys will see my breakdown, I talk about that. Let's bring that up real quick. And as you can see, guys, the odds in the Noakes fight, they're not moving how people projected them to move. Last night, Mason was $1.23 on my book in Australia. He's $1.28 now, meaning that money's coming in on Sam. Sam's only a 3-1 dog. Sam, dude, this is like, I think the better question is, earlier somebody said, do you see any potential upsets? I think a better question is, what are the potential locks? Because the matchmaking on this card is pretty decent. The odds on Benny versus Yard are insane to me. I think Yard is now a 7-1 dog, maybe even more. I haven't seen David not have much power since moving up. I'm thinking over 9.5 since the earliest Yard got it put away as better. Yeah, so Big Shadow. If we're talking about, I'm kind of tailing this. I'll show you the bet. It's Wednesday morning here. By tomorrow, you'll be getting my long parlays. By tomorrow, I'll be giving you. I'll start putting my tickets together, and you'll see them in the Discord. You'll get my method of victory parlays. You'll get a little sneaky D-Gen parlay. You'll get the underdog of the week. One of the bets I really like is that David Benavidez and the over. This one. I really like this bet. Over 9.5. 100 on that gets your money back plus 82 bucks. It adds sauce to a parlay if you want to sauce it up, or just a standalone bet. A couple hundred on that. Because we know about Benavidez's accumulative power. We know how big Yard is. He's tough. Yard could punch too. Over 9.5. I really like this. I like that bet. Boxing. Boo, thinking Eubank, Fernandez, Bam, Mason, Nasico. Yeah, see, I have similar parlay on that. I do have. You guys know I have Norman, but he's on a ticket by himself. Yeah, the under for me, Sergio. Welcome to the channel. At least commenting. Maybe you're on here. I don't see you comment too often. For me, from what we do on the channel, we're sharps, we're bettors. We break down film. We give our analysis on these fights. We do it from a research perspective. An underdog from our perspective is going to be odds based, not sort of a narrative built around a promoter. But I didn't hear that, and that's interesting. Jay Grizz, I'm 230. We'll fight 198. Get it? Anything? Hit that road work, Grizz. I got to be honest with you, man. So road work. I'm sure you know this. You're in camp. You're training. You at this stage of the game, we got to weaponize our cardio. The last place you ever want to be in a fight is drowning with no cardio. So do your skill stuff, get your sparring in. But I would be at this stage at how old you are in your late 30s, weaponize your cardio. That should, because if anything, if you're outskilled, or if a couple rounds in, you're like, oh shit, this kid could crack. At least you know you got a gas tank. So the minute you see them wilting, you fucking turn it on. That's still, I spar once a week, sometimes twice a week at this stage of the game. And I still look for that. As soon as I start feeling whoever I'm sparring fading a bit, I'm pouring it on. So I've always weaponized the cardio. See, I walk around about 185 pounds. So I'm 5'11, 185. I'd like to probably get down. I'm done competing. If I were to compete, I would get down to like 170. But 180, it's tough, at this stage. And I eat clean as hell, mate. I don't drink alcohol. I drink water. I don't eat fast food. I'm a coach. I do like this. We were looking at these odds. Let's bring them up. Casamonica fighting Fernandez. Eddie, what is it about this that you like? Because I haven't taped it yet. I've been kind of keeping my eye on these odds. We watched John Fernandez. They call him John Fur. He's a Spanish fighter. I like Casamonica here. I wanted to get your opinion on maybe there's something you saw that I didn't see. Merch is Big Meech. Larry Hoover. My only locks are Benavides and Bam. Yeah. Tipkin, no one wants to hear Norm. I know, man. People are getting salty, Tip. Look, man, you've been on my channel a while. The boys obviously been on my channel a while. If you're tuning to this live stream, you know how we operate. But every time there's these big cultural fight matchups, the casuals or just people from new channels come and they get salty. You guys want to see some salty comments? Go to my Stats Don't Lie video, and if you watch my video, I'm just how I non divisive, wasn't talking trash. I simply gave my prediction on how I think it's going to go. And dude, the Devin Haney glaze is real. I think the biggest question is how the hell did Melnicki get on this card? And we know that is Pops. Thanks, Pops. Vito is fighting an undefeated Nigerian fighter. Yeah, but mate, they found this dude. It's not Eddie. I got a message, Eddie, maybe 5 weeks ago. And I think I messaged Gary from 3D Boxing about this exact matchup. And one of the boys from New York messaged me and said, hey, Vito Melnicki is getting put on this ring card. And they found an undefeated Nigerian, MoMA, to fight him. And I guess this record is sus. I'll bring up, yeah, I guess the record, they found this Nigerian with this record to sort of add credibility to even having Vito on this card. I'll show you what I mean. So I'm not going to sit here and say it's padded, but we could vote. I'm going to pull it up. We know about Vito's dad. We know about he's a promoter. I'll show you what I mean. So we can't just so this is the dude, 28, 21-0, 5 knockouts. I've seen worse. I gotta be honest. I gotta tape him because the message I received like 5 weeks ago was like, this dude, wasn't really legit. I can't really name anybody on his resume, but I was expecting like 0-18 records. Like, who's the kid from Texas who's 42-0? Like, when you look at the kid from Texas who's 42-0, you see a lot of like 8-40s, 10-48 sort of thing. I was it's not what we're seeing here. But then again, I mean, I don't know. I tend not to bet on Vito Melnicki fights. But you have a good. I mean, it's something to look into for upset alert. It is. I got to check out his opponent. You're absolutely correct about wrong place to tie on the ring. Good shit. Thank you, bro. We got to keep. We got to. we unks now. Actually, they do those memes. They say unks are only 42. I guess I'll be an old head. I'm 43. Casamonica had a good fight, had a good night with Body. People say he beat Body, but he's basic, has no power, got a hometown gift last fight by the sounds of it. I like what Boxing Booth is saying and what Eddie just said about the veto fight. This is what we do on this channel, guys. We search, we seek out upsets. So if you're like, why are these guys talking about these obscure matchups? We do this every week. This is how we win the most money, guys. This is real rap. In terms of the sports books, there's so much money that's left on the table every week of boxing betting from people who only bet on the major fights. If they this we do that as well, but what we also like to do is we dig deep and we sift through the rubble and we look for these sort of matchups to find where the bookies got it wrong. And guys, stats speak for themselves. Check out our receipts on the channel. We're pretty good at doing this. I got Brian for the win as well. Not sure how people are locking Haney in after his last. Yeah, I've been talking about the Haney Norman matchup ad nauseum for the last 48 hours, so we could get into that in a second. So Boxing Booth says, love to take Casamonica, but don't see it at the moment. Watch tape on John Fur, because that's the tape. I didn't tape. I saw Casamonica's last fight. I'll show you. We covered Fernandez. We covered Fernandez's last fight on the channel. Ricardo Nunes. It ended. Nunes down in round 2, causes in the third round a large cut. Fernandez is here with 2 blows after the ref. Fernandez can't continue. Yeah, it kind of messed up a parlay because it was this weird finish. 27-3, 22 knockouts. Casamonica. This is the kid. We watched the Lucas Body fight. 15-1, 3 knockouts. Italian. Yeah, I don't know, man. This if you're gonna bet on this, unless you really see something that you guys like, Boxing Booth, and anyone else in the Discord, and you guys know to do this. If you really see something in the tape, put it in the Discord. Let us know, and I'll take a little bit of a deeper dive. 5 Boxing Van Norman has a lot of 10 and 40 ounce record. Yeah, so does Dev. Dev has a lot of non-fights on his record though, mate. They both, in amateur boxing in America, to get pro fights before you're 18, you got to go to Mexico. It's the thing you got to do. So I'll show you something about you. We'll do both, but you're not lying. You don't never lie. You don't never lie. You could find suspicious activity on everybody's box rec, to be honest with you. So this is why when I'm talking about film study and I'm breaking fights down, I always say, what have you done for me lately? For Brian Norman Jr., I only go as far back as the Quentin Randall fight in 2023, and you could watch the evolution of Norman Jr. from Quentin Randall to Santillan to Cuevas. You could even the Janelson Boca Chica fight when he got clipped, and that fight ended due to cuts, no contest, to the Jin Sasaki fight. His Brian Norman's leveling has happened on the defensive side and his entrances. When you watch that, how he got clipped against Janelson Boca Chica, the dude is so hungry and so confident in his power. This was against Janelson. He's pressuring Janelson into the corner. Janelson's a crafty vet at this time. He knows what he's doing. Norman doesn't feint. Norman doesn't even throw the jab. Norman's basically telling the whole world he wants to throw his right hand. So you do that against even a club pro, even a gym pro, a guy who just goes to the gym and spars, doesn't have a pro, doesn't even take fights at this stage of the game. They're savvy enough to pick up on, errors in your entrances, errors in your setups. And I'll show this to you. I played this on my Instagram. And Norman walks right in, kind of like, hey, I'm going to throw this at your head. And he doesn't hide it. He doesn't, none of that. And he just goes big-eyed. And Janelson just goes, bink, cracked him. And but from that punch, you can see, watch the setups against Cuevas, watch the setups against Sasaki. That's what I'm looking for. So when you watch Haney, and people are going to talk about, oh, he beat Ramirez, you know, world champion. Dude, he beat a 32, 33-year-old Ramirez that we know Ramirez's best days were what, 8 years ago. We know Ramirez's style, brutal, takes a beating. We know the beat, you know, he beat go watch Maurice Hooker. Go watch that fight and then watch what Ramirez looked like after the Maurice Hooker fight, in his movement patterns, in, you know, how he approached the game. He took a lot of shots against Hooker, and that was years ago, a few years back. My point is, it's not shocking to say Ramirez wasn't in his prime against Devin. If you're going to lean on the fact of Devin's performance against Ramirez, good luck on that, because he lands, what, 70 punches? He fights negatively the entire time. And then, you know, since the Regis fight, if you want to give me Regis, who was also in his mid 30s, that fight was at 135. This fight's at 47. Since the Regis fight, this will be Brian Norman Jr.'s third fight in 2025. Why is that relevant? These are all relevant points of activity. The size is relevant because if you're going to lean on Devin based off of his speed, reflexes, and athleticism, which you should, he's very fast, skilled, athletic. He's already 27. When was the fastest version of Devin Haney? You know, I'm going to probably say it was in 2021 when he was fighting. I brought this up in my breakdown. We don't get faster, we don't get quicker the older we get. You mix that with, you know, fighting in a bigger weight class, people are gonna be like, yeah, but he always filled out, you know, even when he was fighting at 135, you know, he put on so much weight and cut so much weight. That's fine and all, but the body has to get used to carrying a specific amount of weight and then cutting a specific amount of weight in a window of time. That's you know, the role of our body's central nervous system, our body's energy expenditure, how much energy we burn versus how much energy is required to produce a result. So all these sort of things have to be spoken about. And when we're talking about um, Devin Haney, what he's looked like as of late, yeah, it's not a fighter that I want to bet on. Shout out to Heaven Sent guys. Follow Heaven Sent's lead. Became a YouTube member. It's a couple bucks a month. That link is pinned in the comment section below. Heaven Sent now has access to our Discord and more access on the channel. Let me know if you need anything, Heaven Sent. Send me a message. Ramirez's fight was 100% rigged. Ramirez threw the fight on purpose. Crazy to me how nobody sees it. It's crazy to me, Frederico, that people are using that Ramirez performance to say that he looked good. They're gonna tell you, because this is the trick about Devin Haney, dude. Because when did you have to do a little bit more homework when you're looking at his resume, because on paper the resume is legit. And I told you, I've been saying this all week. 25 years from now, people are going to be like, "Holy shit, Devin fought everyone." But the ones in the know understand that you have to look deeper than what the name says. You have to see when they fought, what weight did they fight at, when did they catch him in their career, what fight did they fight after the fight, before the fight. All these things matter. And from a placement perspective, Bill Haney's done a great job from a placement perspective on these fights. 1000 Brazy in the house. Appreciate you. Haney's first photo online has him running. I'm trying to pull it back up, but thank God, a month and a half ago, I invested in the live stream for you boys. So this is a newer device. That's why we haven't been cutting out over the last 6 weeks. And I got my 2022 Mac right here, but you know, almost 4 years old. That's my only beef with Mac products and Apple is that, like, I don't use it for anything but editing. There's nothing. I don't have any apps on my Mac, right? So the storage is there. I don't save anything. I use it to edit my Stats Don't Lie videos. And the internet just drops out all the time. Heaven Sent, this is my first ever subscription on the channel. I see this is great. Appreciate you, mate. Let's go. Let's go. Be patient with us. Get into the Discord. If you have any questions, let me know. It's not just boxing, by the way. And we always put up our receipts too, man. So I've seen you. You've been supporting the channel for a while. It's crazy that I'm not getting the internet. I got the internet going nuts. I'm Paul Wall, baby. What you know about me? I'm only 5'9" sadly, baby. Holla at me. People, did Paul Wall hit where you guys are from? Because when I remember when Paul Wall and Mike Jones and Slim Thug hit, people were like, ooh, this shit's off the meat rack. I'm that 6'6" long dick hustler sticking your chick. Like, what, dude? This cat out here wild. Share screen. Okay, I got it coming back. We're about to have a revivalry. Sorry, guys. Thanks for being patient with me. All right, box rec. I'm getting back to the comment about Devin's resume because or Brian's resume. Here we go, boys. It keeps you running. Okay, so 32-0. We know about this. In like 15 knockouts, we know about this. So yeah, it's part of the game when you're coming up in the game, you're taking fights. Uh, you just turned pro. I get it. I'm not throwing away the whole thing because it was in Mexico. I'm bringing this up because you brought up Norman's record, but peep game on this. So you're telling me I didn't know they did in the pro ranks. I didn't know in the pro ranks they was out here doing same day tournaments out here like it's the UFC. Like it's UFC 1, 2, and 3 when Hoist Gracie had to fight 5 times to become a champion. Look, on the box rec, Devin fought December 15th. He fought again on December 15th. So he's 2-0 here. And then on the box rec, it's kind of wild that all these dates are December 15th, December 15th, February 16th, March 16th, April 16th, May 16th, June 16th, August 16th. It seems kind of, oh, they only fight on the 16th? Or was it like, what day did y'all fight? What day did y'all motherfuckers fight? And then Bill, I don't know, maybe he's a Joe Montana fan. I know Devin grew up in San Francisco. You know what I mean? Dev's box rec says he's from San Fran. And Joe Montana was the GOAT when Bill was coming up at quarterback. What, maybe 16s is what the hell? Everything is the 6th. Am I missing something here? August 16th, August 16th, September 16th. Because all the box rec will just put up fights if you do their administration process. I ain't saying I'd have done it, but I understand. He's like, so you driving around in his car. He's driving around in her car, fucking his wife. I ain't saying I'd have killed her, but I understand. January 17th, January 17th, March 17th, April 17th. Like, am I missing something? Am I I don't know. I want to see it. Let's go to Devin Haney's. Or let's go to Norman's. So here's Norman's. In Norman, it's been on record that this is what you do if you go pro in America and you're not 18. You go to Mexico. So BoxRec lists month and year. I want to see footage. I want to see footage. I want to see tapes. Did anyone ever get the facts about who was it that was talking about Devin bought a loss off of his record? Okay. You saw Tim Tszyu fighting Anthony Velasquez? No. Tim Tszyu is fighting Anthony Velasquez. I feel like Tim Tszyu should be fighting Michael Zarafa, but Nikita's fighting Zarafa. How do you guys feel about that? Aussies stand up. So is that the year? Brandon, good looking out, mate. We don't really be reading things that well. Okay. I want to bring up Brian's. Okay, this is Norman Jr.'s. But guys, the resumes, this is just conversation material, right? I'm going to tell you, what have you done for me lately? If your money is going on Devin, you're obviously liking what you see in Devin's most recent performances. Oh yeah, it's the year. That motherfucker stupid. That motherfucker don't know shit about boxing. You right? You know. They were at the same hotels though. You know, I'm gonna stand. I'm gonna double down. I'm gonna pull my muscles. They was remember muscles was doubling down on those tickets. They was at the same hotel though. Good luck now, Brandon. Let's get. I'm a stupid motherfucker. Share this tab instead. I want to see if those Haney Norman odds have shit. Guys, what books do you have? What book are you using? I want to see who you guys have as is if it's a 50-50 fight right now with Norman and Haney. It's insane. It's literally a coin flip right now. Here, 196, 196. And the reason why this is kind of crazy, at least on sports bet, is because with the draw, you're forced to take three-way betting. So let's say there's a draw and you pick a winner, you lose, right? But Bet365 is not that route. So I always tell all the Aussies, if you're betting on boxing, use Bet365 because the draw won't ruin your ticket. But for it to be 196, 196 with the draw and play, three-way betting 16-1, it's crazy. It's literally like flip a coin. Checking in, high interest. What's up, player? Haney moneyline Ziggy in the house. Good luck. Haney going to sleep in the eighth. Yeah. Gotta tape Anthony. So words breaking that Tim Zoo is fighting. Who was it? Anthony Vasquez? Anthony Velasquez. I'll check into that, mate. We got some time. High interest says, I got Norman because Haney couldn't stop Ryan. Guys, how do you this is another thing. This is a great point, high interest. Guys, I want to know somebody, how do you rate Ryan Garcia? Because in my breakdown, I read comments, and the Stats Don't Lie video, it's doing well. It's about 3,000 views. For me, like if I break 1,000 on my edited videos, I'm like, I ain't greedy. I'm happy. Those videos take a long time. I put a lot of energy, and we're just a new channel. We're growing, so I read the comments as well. And people were kind of salty that I said Ryan Garcia is not world level. I look at Ryan Garcia as an American domestic level fighter. You know what I'm saying? And so the reason why that's important for this conversation is I put Garcia North American domestic level. And he did pop for Osterine. Look, I'm not a Garcia fan. Not making the same mistake over and over. People are gonna, criticize both sides of the game. They're gonna criticize Norman if they're betting on Dev. They're gonna criticize Dev if they're betting on Norman. I'm not criticizing their personalities, guys. I'm not criticizing their last name. I'm criticizing technique. Everybody has technical flaws. So when you're looking who you're betting on, you look at the technical flaws, and then you look at their skill sets and strengths. So, and if those are aligned, if one skill set is and strength of a fighter is aligned with their opponent's flaws, then you're getting close to your answer of who you want to bet on, right? Devin Haney's skill set is going to be speed and reflexes. It's not power. And his flaws are going to be psychological and his right hand dropping when he throws his jab. People say he has a great jab. I disagree. He has an okay jab. A great jab, like I would rate Richardson Hitchens' jab over Devin Haney's jab 10 out of 10. Okay? When you see time and time again, you know what? I'm going to play it for you guys. I'm going to play it for you, motherfuckers. Yeah. Y'all gonna pray for me, Charlie. Little one been here before. They gonna kill me. I'm gonna kill them. I believe when a kid turns 2, you can hit him in the stomach or the throat. I prefer the throat. I'm gonna show you what I mean. When Dev throws his jab, his right hand comes here. He's not here. I don't know if that's because he has antsy feet. He wants to be out of there, but it's exact. Ryan was catching him over and over. Ryan telegraphs his lead hook. Ryan has no feet, flat-footed, doesn't use the ring, waits there in the pocket for you to throw something so he can throw your lead hook. How do you make that adjustment? Oh, you circle away from his lead hook. You feint. I'm sitting on a fucking couch. I'm 80 years old. It's easier for me to say this. From a technical side, though, when you're talking about who you're betting on, this is what you should be looking for. Haney's going to use his jab to beat Norman and use his feet to beat him. The jab is what kept getting Devin into trouble. Also, guys, watch how uncomfortable Devin is in the pocket. Devin doesn't like to clinch fight. Devin isn't happy there. He doesn't want to, he doesn't want to be there. It's one of Brian Norman's strengths. Man, this internet down here is suspect on my third device. This internet is suspect. I need to get a new device out here. I already got a new one. Norman Sr. spoke on a lot of things. They say they got anything for Dev. But what Dev only engages in the clinch to get a separation and a reset. Like, he fights so negatively. He doesn't, like, I don't care who you are as a person. I don't judge fighters by them being how they are outside the ring. That's the hater's job. That's not what from a technical side, Devin Haney will make you pull your hair out because he has skills that you kind of want him to use in a different way. He has skills that he was born with that you kind of want him to use in a more proactive way. He uses those skills so negatively to where when you watch him clinch, when you watch him in the pocket, he's only doing it to get a reset. He doesn't want to do any work there. It just tells me that, tells a lot. High interest, super chat. Appreciate you. Let's start a chain show, John. Some love for the work. Let's start a chain show. I'm down. A chain. What do you say? I'm down for any little project, high interest, any little creative endeavor. I'm your guy. Let me know. Hit me up on the disc. Okay, what are you guys getting about the ring size? Because some of the boys in the comment section were saying that they announced the ring size, but I didn't get any. Did you guys get an official ring size? Somebody was saying it was 19 by 19. I couldn't find it. I'm going to show you what I mean, though, about Devin has a tell. And, watch the breakdown, playa. So this is my where I live. This is a baby bush turkey that was trying to get into the crib. All right, here we go. Garcia, look at Haney backing up. Watch what he does with his backhand. When he throws his jab, he drops his backhand. He can't fight off the back foot. Boom, gets caught with the lead hook. Norman Ludd's fighting on the inside. Watch how uncomfortable Haney is in the clinch. He's extending his arms, looks super uncomfortable, gets hit with the hook again here. Watch Devin's right hand. It gets caught. Look here. Ryan Garcia is a... Dude, this connection's driving me absolutely insane. The only reason I made this, the only reason I broke this down because one of the boys in the Discord did a jab montage of Brian Norman Jr. against Quentin Randall, which was in 2023. And he beat Randall. Randall was 13-0. and I was telling the boys, if you're gonna watch Norman Jr. highlights, don't go. He's at 24 years old. He's a guy who he's not in his physical prime yet. He's not a peak fighter. He's a world champion, but he's going to continuously get better. Devin Haney has peaked. Devin Haney, in my opinion, he has leveled out. If anything, Haney's degrading. I don't think that should be a shocking statement. At 27 years old, the version of Devin at 21, 22 was kind of peak Haney. And this is just my opinion. And when we're looking at progression of athletes, that you have to look at the trajectory of the story that the athlete is telling you. Norman Jr.'s story, everything for, and just so you know, I'm not one-sided, guys. I did this breakdown, but I also broke down Norman getting dropped against Janelson. Shout out to the Motor City Cobra. Let's go.
You see, this is what I love.
The reason why this is relevant is one of the boys in the Discord put a picture of Devin Haney looking jacked, and he was like, Devin Haney looks like, he's gonna have the power advantage. I go, bro, do you not know anything about boxing? I was like, some of the most devastating punchers are dudes who look like string beans. I was like, power does not come strictly from optics. It comes from being able to use the body in a certain way. Torque, leverage. Usually long, slender strikers have bigger pop. Think about the Motor City Cobra, Tommy Hearns. Kelly Pavlik was built that similar way, long and lean, and they just would generate just nasty power. So it's not a bodybuilding competition, it's boxing. So I just played you the tell of Haney. Haney comes, when he throws that jab, his right hand's here. Now I'm going to show you Janelson dropping Norman. It's a beautiful right hand.
You see, this is
right here. Absolutely gorgeous. Watch Norman come in. No feint, no jab. Norman doesn't set this up at all. It's insane. Now, this was a few fights. Look, no setup, no jab. He tells everybody. He told Janelson, I'm going to lead with my head. Janelson saw this the whole time. This is a beautiful right hand. One of my favorite. Boom, straight down the goddamn pipe on a button. It's insane Norman didn't get knocked down cold. But my point is, when you watch him coming in on that, no setup, no head movement, no feint, no jab. He literally was like, here's my head, here's my right hand, I'm gonna throw it like. And Janelson saw that coming. It was a gorgeous setup. It was a very immature idea from a boxing perspective, and I'll read you what I wrote. And this was in response. This was in response to, I love this punch from Boca Chica. It's all part of the game. No feint, no setup, no jab, just sheer youthful hubris. Hubris. Hubris is the perfect adjective to describe Brian Norman Jr.'s psychology in this moment. Hubris is a word to describe somebody's almost arrogant confidence or impulsive sort of attitude towards something that they should be a little bit more calm or a little bit more cautious about. A lot of salesmen use hubris to sound right. Fighters in this moment, think about Abdullah Mason against Johan Vasquez, similar thing. So I then say, you want to make that kind of mistake on your come up when you're coming up through the ranks. You want to make it then than now. All fighters learn through getting hit. Some lessons are more brutal than others. It's actually a beautiful aspect of boxing. Coming back from mistakes, making adjustments, and leveling up through adversity. It's actually a reason I'm high on Norman. The levels he's shown over the last few years. And I mean that. Like, watching him make this mistake here and then go to the Derek Cuevas fight. Derek Cuevas at the end of and Cuevas was a big YSN. And go to the best thing about YouTube is there's receipts. As long as content creators don't do a dodgy one and delete their takes. I don't delete shit. So you see all my good takes, you see all my bad takes. The Derek Cuevas Norman Jr. fight week was hilarious to me. We hit on a plus 650 Brian Norman. My bad. That was Norman Jr. versus Sasaki. But the Cuevas fight week was hilarious to me. We still hit on the stoppage, but people were saying Cuevas's power was going to sort of be a big problem for Norman considering his defensive flaws. So he did get caught with a punch at the end of the second in a similar predicament, but his hands, he wasn't here. He was here. And when Cuevas caught him, he was here. And so you saw his legs kinda, not really, but kind. And I'll give Cuevas the benefit of the doubt. He landed the punch on the button. But if Brian Norman doesn't make that adjustment, and he wasn't punching with him, by the way, either. He was here. He was getting ready for a sit-up, and then he got caught. His hands were up, though. He doesn't get dropped. He then stops him the next round. That is a perfect example of making adjustments. Fight to fight. Okay, it's an it's an adjustment. Abdullah Mason, the Johan Vasquez rear uppercut without setting it up. I was talking about earlier. Hopefully he makes that adjustment and doesn't do that against Noakes, because Noakes is a visceral guy. He's definitely going to be looking for that. Any boxing coach would tell you straight off jump, never throw a rear uppercut if it's not part of a combination or if it's not a counter. You just don't nakedly throw a rear uppercut. So these are the adjustments I'm talking about. Devin Haney, in my opinion, I haven't seen them from Haney. Haney is he's leveled off. I don't think, I mean, if you're going to take the Ramirez performance and you're betting on that, and then, or you're going to go back to say he was great against Loma. I mean, okay, 130, Loma, smaller guy. People had Loma winning the fight. I thought Devin's best performances were probably 4 years ago, 2021, maybe 2022. But this version of him is not that version. There's trauma in his legs. There's trauma in his eyes. He's always kind of had happy feet. And technically, he's not that sound. People are saying you want to see a technically sound fighter? I'm going to say this all week. Look at Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson is technically sound. Shakur Stevenson does all the things at the super highest level that Bill Haney thinks Devin does. Like when you watch Shakur operate and cook in a ring, mate, it's beautiful. How his composure in the pocket in a firefight. Shakur has a dog in him, and when you watch Devin do the same, it looks differently. It looks twitchy. It looks nervous. It doesn't look patient. You bring all of that into Riyadh on Saturday, and I told you guys this. I would much rather go down with a burning ship with a slugger like Brian Norman Jr. and lose than bet a penny on Devin with how he fought against Ramirez and have to watch a fight and a fighter, which I'm betting on, who's fighting so negatively for 12 rounds. That's just how I am. And I don't see Devin at this version being able to withstand Norman Jr.'s power, his aggression, the psychology, and the moment. Say it for what it is. I don't think Devin Haney's that dude. I don't think he was ever that dude. I think that, the fights against George Kambosos Jr., he won both of them. The fight against Regis, how old was Regis? The fight against Loma, there's a story about it. Every little fight, the fight against Ramirez, every little fight that you're going to give me about Devin Haney, about him being great, there's going to be a story behind it. What's the story of Devin Haney? What's the story of Brian? If both of them have books, I'm going to go with the 24-year-old's book, because the way that thing is trending, I'm going to invest in that. As an angel investor, as somebody who is looking to invest in an idea, that's the approach. That's one of the elements of, once you get past film study, once you get past the technique, once you get past the style versus style, you have to, at least me, I'll ask myself that as well. I'm like, because that's a component of boxing. That's the psychological element. That's the optic of what we're seeing, the product of what we're seeing. And to invest in the product that is Devin Haney at this current time, yeah, have fun with that one. I'm going to be called a hater, though, boy. Johnny hate. Who this white boy talking about boxing? Who this white boy talking about? He a Devin hater. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Norman is fresh. Yep. Piss and vinegar. Shoot.
I said I'll walk you home after all the rounds of pouring whiskey down.
I'm going to get flagged for that one. I'm going to get flagged for that one.
I said I'll walk you home.
So I have the stats on this. Who wins, Noakes or Abdullah? It's like, I think it's like 95% people picking Mason here. I'm definitely picking Mason. Bang Mateo. What about resumes and experience versus top comp? Yeah, so resumes and experience versus top comp. Like I said, we're gonna be able to look back and talk about that. We're gonna see the names on Devin Haney's resume. He's been in there with the better fighters. He's been fighting at the world level for the longer period of time, right? But you must also ask this question, and this is the question that you must come to terms with whenever you bet money on a fighter. What have you done for me lately? For Norman, he went to Japan to fight a one-loss Jin Sasaki. Jin Sasaki was the front foot guy. Jin Sasaki had the power. Jin Sasaki's only loss was to Andy Hiroka. Andy Hiroka was paired up with GAR, Gary Antoine Russell, to fight for a world title at 40. And we know how high I am on GAR. Andy Hiroka's a dog. I have GAR winning that fight, and we know that whole card got scrapped because your boy. But and then before that, Cuevas, before that, Gio, he was the underdog against Gio. I mean, Devin, so since 2023 when he fought a very different version of Regis, what has he done since, mate? Those are the resumes I have to talk about. Those are the experiences we have to talk about. Because when these fighters walk into the ring Saturday night, a 24-year-old and a 27-year-old, they're not bringing, all they're bringing in is that moment. They're going to be looking at each other. They're going to be bringing in their life experience up until that moment, their trauma as a fighter, what's happened inside and out of the ring. I love the fact that Norman goes in, watch him in fight week, wearing a hoodie, not buying into all these little social media games. He doesn't care about celebrity. He doesn't care about going viral. He's a fighter. He's a real throwback. That matters for something. And sometimes on fight night, you could throw resumes and experience out the window. I think from what I've seen in Devin, his resume doesn't mean anything. His experience doesn't mean anything. He should have, if that would have mattered against Ramirez, that fight would have looked differently. He should have, his fight against Garcia should have looked differently. When have you seen Devin optically set himself up for you to be like, yeah, man, I'm betting on this dude? I'm just being real. Damn, Tank has entered the building. We don't really be messing with Tank. I don't really do the domestic abusers on my channel. They say Sam Noakes is tough. They say Sam Noakes is tough as nails and a puncher, but I haven't heard about his skills. Mason. Okay, so it's at 27 years old, they're going to talk about Sam Noakes being tough. A narrative about him is he lost his first fight. He's been undefeated since. He's 27 years old. He's experienced. He's the more physically matured guy. He has his man strength. He's technical. He's not going to be the quickest. He doesn't have the biggest power. I think he's flawed defensively. I think he's tailor-made in terms of keeping his head on the midline. Showing Abdullah nothing that he hasn't seen already. I like Abdullah to stop Sam, but he does a lot of the things that you want to see. Good. He's sound. He's a sound pro. This is a step up. This will be the best fighter Abdullah's faced. This will be the best fighter Abdullah's faced. Grand Marquis. And this matters, man. This matters. Storm and Norman. Do you guys remember the UFC fighter Norman Park? There's a kid from Ireland right before the Conor McGregor invasion. I think he was either from Ireland or Scotland. He was either from Dublin or Scotland. His name was Stormin Norman Park. And he would just stand there and just slug it out. But nice little nickname. Yeah, to me, Haney doesn't look confident. Confidence is, come on, guys. Confidence is everything. In life, guys, if you want to get the girl, get the job, if you want to get the promotion, you have to read a book about nonverbal communication. You have to carry yourself in a specific way. You have to put the work in. You have to know when nobody else knows that you did the work. That's what I like about Norman. You get the sense when you hear Norman talk, he knows that everybody else knows that he knows that they know that he did the work. Look, I'm not trying to I'm just telling you what he's done. So do you want me to just disregard what he's done? I'm not disregarding what Dev's done. I already told you. Devin's resume, stronger resume, been a world level for way longer. What have you done for me lately? I don't know if Ramirez would have beat Sasaki. I can't say that. That version of Ramirez, I don't know, man. I don't know. I want to know. I'd like to know. I want to know what turns you on. Who's Haney beat that wasn't either over the hill? Bro, these are the questions. This is the story that Haney fans don't want to tell. But as boxing fans and non casuals, fans like us who aren't picking a fighter because we like them, we're picking a fighter because we are going to win money. What is the intention, guys, over your attention? That's a philosophical conversation. It's a philosophical thought experiment that every man in here should be doing with every decision in their life today and every day. Ask yourself whether you're going to the library, whether you're going to the pub, whether you're going to the market to get groceries to cook for yourself, whether you're going to the fast food restaurant to have them cook for you, whether you're going to the gym. You must ask, and I do this every decision. It needs to become habitual. What is my intention for doing this, rather than just paying attention, rather than just showing up versus having intent with why I'm showing up, right? When you get to that level of research and have that intent of wherever you're putting your money on whatever fighter you're going to pick, you have to then look at who they fought, how they fought, when they fought, ask the deeper questions rather than just go to their box rec. Oh, he beat a world champion. He beat a world champion. He's a two-weight world champion. Adrian Broner, my guy. AB, Ohio guy. Big fan of Broner, right? Love him or hate him. Hand speed, when he was cooking at his best. The history books will always say Broner is a 4-division world champion. That's what the books say. You got to ask yourself, is he really? When did he fight him? Who did he fight him? Who got elevated? Who won a belt? Was it for a world title? Was it a vacant belt? Like, the reason why that is important in this conversation, because we are now using resumes and world level experience to pick a winner. I'm not doing that. I'm doing exactly what you've heard me say all week. What does the fighter look like? Where is their career trajectory? What is the momentum on this guy? How does this guy fight? How does the other guy fight in this situation? Who is going to be able to implement their game plan? Who is going to be able to negate their opponent's strengths? Who's going to be able to showcase their opponent's weaknesses? Who's going to be able to have the psychological advantage? And at the end of the day, who's going to want to be there when it gets dark, dirty, and the water starts filling up and you're starting to sink? Who's going to want to be there? We know Devin Haney's a dog. I'm not saying anything about Devin Haney not being a dog. He showed us that against Ryan, right? But if he fights like that against Ryan, if he fights like that against Norman, he's getting stopped. He's getting stopped. I am. What do you have in terms of 64 for Brian Norman? I'm being fair. I think it's a 50-50 fight. I think it's 50-50. I will After the first 3 minutes, we're going to know about the speed. We're going to know about cutting the ring off. We're going to know about Devin's jab. Because one thing is for sure, neither guy's is going to want to get down on the scorecards. There's no way Devin is going to want to have to climb uphill against Norman. So, and I think this poses good for Norman, because it's going to put, if Devin's game plan is how I think it should be for him to win, Devin is going to have to get Brian's respect early. He's going to have to push Brian back. Devin does not like fighting off the back foot. He doesn't like punching off the back foot. He doesn't like boxing in the clinch. He doesn't like punching with you. He's a very negative fighter. For him to have this game plan work over a 12-round fight and win on the cards, he's going to have to implement this aggressive game plan early. We're going to know after the first 3 minutes. Live betting is huge here. So get to the Discord. That's another thing about our Discord. Live betting will be popping. Bang Mateo. Has Norman ever beat a good back foot bicycle boxer? Guys, this is Norman. I've said it before, Bang. This is Norman's every fight so far. He's only 24. This is a step up. This is a step up. And has Devin been in there with a younger world champion before? How many younger world champions has Devin fought? I think he's going to bed. High interest. When I say chain, I was talking to the chat. Anyone that can drop a couple of. Oh, appreciate you. Yeah, the chat. In high interest, guys like yourself, guys like Bang, who support my channel in more than one ways. You guys like, you subscribe, you're in the Discord, you leave me super chats. It's really hard for me. I've only been live streaming, guys, as a human for 6 months, so I don't know it. As a man who runs my own business, I don't, I didn't come from money. When my dad died, I got his wedding ring. My point is, we didn't, my parents were immigrants. I was raised on welfare. I left my home as an 18-year-old. I've been surviving, living, and thriving on my own since then. And because of that, the way my mind works is it's not in my DNA to ask people for things. So I think that maybe on streamers, they ask the chat to tip them. It's hard for me to do that, and I'm just being honest. So when you bring that up, high interest, it really hits me here, man. I really appreciate it. So thank you. Dev always set to bet on until this fight. Oh, I'm a Devin because stylistically, and I'm glad this is a very important point. I bet on Devin against Ramirez. I bet on Devin against Ryan. I bet on Devin against Regis. I'm a Devin fan. I'm not a Devin hater. Like, you know what I'm saying? But those were stylistic matchups. I didn't always win. I wish the books would have paid us out for Garcia fucking doing drugs. No, how about that shit, dude? They just keep our money out here. Devin gets it expunged off his record, but I don't get my money back, dude. Can I eat out here? Like, what the fuck? Devin, it's not on Devin's record. Ryan gets suspended, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and we don't get our money back. I had multiple parlays cooked because of that fight. Guys, I got to wild out. I'll be back. Second live stream's coming up. Pedro Cabrales, high member for 3 months. Appreciate everybody, man. Could you please like the video? Could you subscribe? Get to the Discord. We got a lot of work to do, guys. I'll be uploading Benavidez versus Yard. I'll be uploading Bam versus Puma today. We got Abdullah Mason versus Noakes coming as well. I'll be going live again. It is Wednesday at 7:30 in the morning. You guys are in my house Wednesday morning. Give me a hug. You guys are all good. We don't have to agree with everything. To the people who disagree with me, you know you're my guy. To the people who agree with me, let's keep getting this money, and I'll see you on the next one.